Hey Hooper, it's Deanne Love here, and in this video we are going to look at 5 arm movements that you can use to activate your upper body while you are waist hooping with a bigger size or weighted hoop. Now this size hoop, she's an old one, but she's beautiful and wise, and she is 105 centimeters in diameter or about 41 inches. And the pipe is a heavier weighted pipe. It's made of irrigation pipe. It is 1 inch or 25 millimeters. So doesn't matter what size hoop you are using. If you are new to hooping or you are loving the luxury of on-body hooping with a bigger hoop, then we are going to look at different ways to include your arms, because sometimes we get stuck. We're like, I don't even know what to do. I'm just going to stand here, which can also be joyful, but hey, let's mix it up and get creative. Now, if you are not rocking a hoop on your belly yet, then you're going to want to jump over to learn.hooplovers.tv and find my free 7-day waist hooping challenge so that you can get this sorted, because this is just pure joy. All right, grab your hoop. Let's get started. 5 ways to use your hands, arms while you are waist hooping. Okay, so for the purpose of this video, I am going to just waist hoop with my feet side by side, but you might be rocking one foot in front of the other, or you may be dancing all over the entire space and dance floor. The first way that we can start to use our hands a little bit more creatively with play is to touch different points on our body. Now, it doesn't matter. Dance like no one's watching. No one probably is watching if you're in your living room. Just start to play around with the act of caress or touch. So that might be cross, touch, or out, 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 or shoulder, 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 shoulder. You can get as creative as you like. Maybe you want to, this is touch. You can clap, you can touch your head, you can touch along one arm and then the other. You could clasp your hands together, take it high, but you are going to, maybe you put your hands on your ribs, across your belly, on your heart and belly. Lots of different ways that you can touch. You can, if you have a song on that has a beat, you can touch a new part every time the beat goes. Or maybe you want to keep it relaxed, smooth. Give yourself a little head massage. And all the while, you're waist hooping. I can feel my heart rate. I can feel my breath. I can feel the heat in my system and my soul going up already. Touch, 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 touch. Face, face, arms. Belly, back. How creative can you be? And then if you do want to move in a circle, perhaps you are touching, caressing, as you move. Okay, the second thing that you could creatively do with your arms, but is also an epic way to get very used to the space between you and your hoop, and that is to dip it. So you are going to dip one hand down in the front and one hand at the back. This is one of the first ways that I learned from, I believe, Anna Hoopalicious and Christabel Zamore, Hoop Girl, to get used to the fact that there was a lot of space between me and the hoop, and eventually I would start using that space. But in the beginning, this felt very challenging because it was difficult to keep the hoop up. So here's what we're going to do. Find a rhythm, create that space, and try not to look down. Just feel it. Know that as the hoop comes around, a big pocket opens at the front and a big pocket opens at the back. And if you turn in the same direction as your hoop, that pocket stays open a little bit longer. So you have some choices here. You've always got choices, but you can stay in one position if you prefer your feet to be planted, but just know that that space is going to open and close quite quickly. So you're going to dip down and up at the front, down and up at the back. You can start with just like one finger, and eventually you'll scoop all the way down, all the way down. If your hoop is going around to the left, your left hand will scoop at the front and your right hand will scoop at the back. If your hoop is going around to the right, then vice versa. Now, if you are starting to step around, you keep the rhythm with the belly, open up the hoop posture, you may be able to slow down your hoop and keep that dip a little longer, a little deeper, a little more smooth. And anytime that you speed up, you may have to speed up your front and back. So you can play and get as courageous as you like with that down, up, dip. The third way that you can move your arms while you are waist hooping is to start to look at the outer space around you. So far we have been touching on the body. We have been dipping in between our body and our hoop. And now we're going to look at the space around us. So start to, whether you're standing in one position or turning in a circle, start to reach high. Reach out in front of you. Reach to the side, and maybe if you have the space, reach to the back. So reach up and out to the sides and the back. And you can be very staccato or quite structured with that. So up, front, side, back. Maybe you want to punch, 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 back. Or perhaps you're feeling quite floaty, so you might reach for the sky, reach for the side, reach for the front. And really what you're doing is keeping the momentum on the belly, and then you're learning to take up space all above your hoop. So imagine you have this incredibly beautiful dome above you, around you, and you are simply, in any way you like, quite linear, or perhaps very non-linear, without lines, without edges, moving your hands, your arms in any way, shape, or form within that dome. The fourth way to use your hands and your arms when you are rocking a larger or weighted hoop on your body is to start to get used to stopping the spin of the hoop and sending in the opposite direction. Now, we would call this breaks, and if you're using a lighter hoop, you might be able to get quite fast with it. But because this is a really heavy hoop that has lots of momentum, we're going to have to be in flow so that we don't cause any stress or injury. So if you are moving around to the left, what you're going to start to do is move your body around to the left, and when you feel ready, catch with the left and then the right. So try that a few times if this is new to you, but if you've got this, start to play with the concept of breaking the hoop or stopping the hoop and sending it in the opposite direction. So moving around to the left, my left hand goes first, catch, catch. And if you're moving around to the right, right hand goes first on the outside, turn, catch, catch. Now the hoop might drop and it might dip, and that's totally fine. But to build on top of that, we're going to go around to the left if you're going to the left, catch, catch, and then send it to the right. Now it's going to the right, catch, catch, send it to the left. Whichever direction it's going, you're going to gently turn. Or perhaps you have a lot of movement in your waist hoop and you can keep the pulse going, and you're going to catch with two hands and send it in the opposite direction. Now, the thing that we don't want to do is let the hoop get away from us. And if it's going around to the left and then you just catch it with one hand and you really open up and put too much pressure on any part of your body. So what we do is support that and stop that by, as we catch the hoop, we press it against our body. We keep ourselves in alignment. Two hands holds the hoop up. It's quite weighted for many of us. And opposite direction. Now, a little tip, if you find that when you grab the hoop and you catch it, and if you stop it for too long, it's simply going to fall down. Gravity is going to be like, hey, guess what? You're coming to the ground. So if your hoop is dipped and then you go to spin it, it's going to get all wobbly. And what we don't want is to put our spine out of alignment. So a way to counterbalance that is spin, grab, grab. If it does dip, bring it back up, open up the shoulders, bring the chin parallel, and then when the hoop is nice and flat, then give it a spin. And eventually, that will become very natural for you. And you can start to turn in one direction and then in the other. And a little tip that you might like to do if you're feeling like you have the weight and you have the balance is that as the hoop is going around, you can start to stop with one hand and put the other hand down and in. But you don't have to do this one-handed. And also, I would say that if you are just catching it with one hand, you need to make sure that, you're not putting any stress on any part of you. If it feels too heavy, don't do it. There's no need. It's just as beautiful to do it with two hands. But if you want to, you can stop with one hand and move. And now notice that I bend my knees, that I really absorb the weight and the movement of the hoop. But if that puts any pressure on any part of you, then just go to what feels nourishing. Number 5 is kind of a transition, really, but it's a cool trick. And it's a way to use your hands to take the hoop on and off your body. But remember, this is a weighted hoop. So we might not be able to go super fast and hard, but we can be flowy and graceful and awesome. So if the hoop is going around to the left, we're going to use the breaks that we used in the last technique to grab the hoop, take it up, bring it back down. And this can just give you a break. If you really love on-body hooping, like me, and you're rocking out for a really long time, and you're just enjoying life and all of the goodness and amazingness that this sensation brings, but you might want to give yourself a little bit of a break. So you can bring the hoop up, maybe shake it out, bring it back down onto the body. And the key points here, again, is that you absorb the weight of the hoop, catch, catch, slide the hands forward, elbows in, take it up to the sky, relax, release. But then you need to bring your hoop forward so that it comes against the back of your lower back, and then give it a nice flat spin. If you find that you're like, cool, I got this, I'm taking the hoop up, I'm having an amazing time here, and then you're right in the center of it and you try to give it a spin, you'll either overcompensate with really poor posture, or so make sure that you give yourself lots of time. Keep it close to the body. Slide hands forward, elbows in, bring it up, rock it around. If you need a little bit of extra time, you're getting a bit sassy here, express, play. It's all beautiful movement and motion. But then push against the back and spin it on. Okay, so there you have 5 ways that you can use your hands if you are doing lots of waist hooping or on-body hooping with a weighted or a larger, heavier hoop. Here is what I would love to know. Which of those 5 amazing ways to use your hands and have a full body expression and play with a weighted hoop do you love the most? And if you have a cooler, more amazing, more incredible way, or just another way outside of those 5 ways, let us know in the comments down below, because hoopers always read each other's comments because you're just creative, beautiful community. So enjoy. Oh, please subscribe. Isn't that what YouTubers do? They're like, hey, like, subscribe, and share. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like, if you want to subscribe, and if you would love to share with someone else who is also partaking in the beauty of hooping. Big hoop love from me to you. Mwah.